we actually do a decent job of talking about the fact that Canada and China have some different values. What we do not do a good job of, though, is talking about the values between Westerners and Pakistani rape gangs. Now, some people know me as a hardline anti-rape gang kind of guy. It's just who I am. It's how I was brought up. I've never gang raped or been part of a gang rape or systematic child raped anyone. In fact, I think it's one of the most evil things you can do. But you know who is part of Pakistani rape gangs? Well, there was a rape gang just discovered in Manchester. And most of them are Pakistani, most of them are Muslim, most of the victims are white middle-class girls. This joins the rape gangs in the UK from Rotterdam, Rochdale, Keighley, Oxford, Peterborough, Ashbury, Bristol, Newcastle, Telford, Derby, Branbury, and Halifax. All of this within the last 10 years. Now, that's a lot of systematic gang rape, and a lot of it coming straight from Pakistanis. And we've had conversations where we've seen the court files where it's literally some of the most racist things you can do. And it's not racist, by the way, it's the Pakistanis are racist. They think of the white people as subhuman and the non-Muslim white girls running around uncovered like a bunch of whores. They're less than human. So we are superior. We can take them and we can rape them and it's not a crime. And this is prevalent and rampant in the communities as seen by the fact that we have rape gangs in Rotterdam, Rochdale, Keighley, Oxford, Peterborough, Ashbury, Bristol, Newcastle, Telford, Manchester, Derby, Branbury, Halifax. And possibly more. Okay. I've talked about issues surrounding this, and this has the same sort of fix as many other problems. It's the fact that we need to talk about it because this is an honor and shame. Now, bring up this article. This is not a good way to fix the rape gang problem. Muslim police officer hired to promote diversity, arrested for sex offense against minors. Yes, by just hiring random people from this community and making them police officers, saying, hey, look, we have a Pakistani police officer. Don't rape us now. Well, he's going to go, that's the worst thing you can do. Like, diversity hires? Yeah, then he joined the rape gangs. He just started raping a bunch of girls. Like, we have to be fully aware of what the problem is. It's Pakistani rape gangs. So the Syrian refugees coming in, they're probably not going to start rape gangs because it's not a Syrian refugee problem. I know they're from Muslim countries. It's primarily Pakistani Islamic rape gangs. It's not Asian grooming gangs. Asian grooming gangs don't groom. They're not grooming puppies and trimming their hair, and they're not Asians. No Japanese people involved. Okay? We have to understand clearly from the court records, this is an issue of honor and shame and messed up priorities. So just how we've talked about the fact that the West and China see things differently, well, you know who also sees things differently? Pakistan and the West. It's one of the things. And you know what? Japan and the Netherlands will see things differently. And Mozambique and Malaysia will see things differently because from the different parts of the world. This used to be a fundamental truth. We have to understand with Pakistan. This is an issue of honor and shame, right? These people see whites, Christians, Sikhs, Hindus also get raped too. It's primarily white girls, but Sikhs, Hindus have been raped too, right? It's not Muslim. It's Muslim Pakistanis raping non-Muslims, majority white. They see this as less than human, and they can do this to get away with it, right? The way you stop this, like many other things, is you have to change the honor calculus, right? You have to change the equation here. And that means you talk about this. Because if we don't talk about this, if we don't start calling them Islamic Muslim rape gangs, because that's what's happening, Islamic Pakistani rape gangs, and put the shame on them. Because it's not everyone, but this is not an Asian thing. It's primarily Pakistani, where the Pakistani community has to actually make a chance that, okay, if we keep raping all these white girls, we're going to look really bad. But instead, what happens is, oh, we keep raping white girls, then they just take a random Pakistani and promote him to police officer. Hey, look, just a random Pakistanis get high-ranking positions because we're raping people. People from that part of the world say, that's a reward. It's not, again, Canada and the Netherlands can sort of treat each other on the same thing. Canada, Australia. Australia is just a hot version of Canada. We're cold Australia. Right? They talk like accents and they have kangaroos, but the same, we get it. You know who's not like us? The rape gangs. Now, so what we have to do is start calling them Pakistani Islamic rape gangs. Maybe we have to cover this. Maybe the people involved should be thrown into the media. But the worst thing we could do is the UK has spent, I don't know, like hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars providing public defenses for them. And when Tommy Robinson tried to report on this issue, they threw Tommy Robinson in jail. So right now we've seen a harsher response from the UK government to trying to stop the people trying to raise awareness of the Pakistani Islamic rape gangs than the people in the systematic child rape gangs. It's pretty messed up. This has obvious consequences outside of just the fact that there are rape gangs going on and young girls are getting raped by the thousands and the police did nothing and the social services did nothing and the politicians do nothing and they all say they don't do anything because of political correctness. So again, get rid of political correctness. But there's a term called reciprocal extremism. And listen, all terrorism is bad, all of it is evil, don't do any of it. But how long do you think it is before some people in the UK say, hey, my sister was trafficked by these Pakistani rape gangs, and someone in the bar says, yeah, my cousin got it too. And then they talk, it's like, yeah, my daughter was part of this. Then there's a little meeting. They talk about it. Then a bunch of boys go out and they just start beating up random Pakistanis. It's so obvious. And then, there's another thing that happens. What if there's a bunch of white people who start to patrol Pakistani neighborhoods and say, hey, we're the anti-rape gang task force. Like, we're going to patrol, if you're a young girl and you're afraid of sex crimes, you come to us and we'll protect you because the police don't. And then what happens when the media attacks those people? Right? People doing reasonable things. They call them racist, they call them evil. Right? And then it pushes the movement further and further. Like, you don't want to see innocent Pakistanis getting beat up because of this, because it's not the majority of them. Okay, of course. If it was the majority of Pakistanis in the rape gangs, well then, like, everyone would get raped. Okay? But it's a significant enough problem that is prevalent the most within the Pakistani community. And in Canada, do you think we're immune from the potential of Pakistani rape gangs? Like, we have honor killings here. We have police forces that will do nothing. Like, the Peel Region Police Force has on their board of advisors is a member of the Muslim Brotherhood. In, not Peel, we just did a thing about this, York Region Police. They outreach at the Jafari Mosque, which the guy is an outright Khomeiniist. He pledges his allegiance to Iran. He ran a school where he taught that boys should play sports to prepare for jihad and girls should go into home to cook and clean, because you can't jihad on an empty stomach. I've tried. It doesn't work. Do you think our police force, do you think our social services are immune from political correctness? Do you think this problem can't happen anywhere else? We're playing a dangerous game. Because how long is the inaction of the state going to be noticed, and then the people start getting into it? Because, listen, at this point, if there's a bunch of people in Rotterdam, Telford, Peterborough, Rochdale, Ashley, Keighley, Bristol, Oxford, Newcastle, Branbury, Manchester, Halifax, who say enough is enough, we're going to just pick up a bunch of lead pipes and just drive the Pakistanis out of here. Now, don't do that. I disavow. But is anyone going to be surprised if that happens? That's the question. Like, would anyone be shocked at this point? The media will pretend to be shocked. But only the media and the politicians will be shocked. And they really won't be. Right? Would anyone be surprised if the people of the UK start to take this matter into their own hands? Because now we have thousands and thousands of children being systematically gang raped by Asian grooming gangs. Read Pakistani Islamic rape gangs. Anyone going to say something outside of me, Tommy Robinson, and a few others? And if the mainstream media doesn't start calling it like it is, start putting the names and faces of the rapists out there, shaming them publicly, changing that honor calculus, well then you're going to get more rape gangs, and eventually someone's going to say enough is enough, and then innocent people are going to start to die on both sides.